All right, so I need to make a decision whether I'm going to do my vertical or horizontal poster. I know the photos that I want to use, and I want to start with this photo right here. So I can go in here and I can just go open with Photopea. This is going to be my main photo that I want to crop. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to open up all of my photos first. And you can jump back and forth from your Google Drive just to Photopea. You have to wait for them to open up, and they'll stack all in here. Um, Now that this is a horizontal, meaning like wide back and forth, I know that I need the horizontal poster template. So I'm going to get that first image on my poster first. So I'm going to go here and just open with Photopea, and you'll see, just like before, your images all stack at the top of Photopea. All right, so this area right in here, so I'm going to crop that first photo, is 10 by 14 or 14. It's 14 inches wide, 10 inches tall. So I'm going to go to that image. Oh, where is it in here? Oh, you know what? To get them in there together, what it did was it opened a second tab. So if that happens to you, just from inside of Photopea, just do File, Open. You want to work on that same tab. So I'm already in my Elements of Design folder. So I'm just going to open this one up. Okay, now I have them side by side, which is what I need here. All right, I am going to just sort of slide this to the side for now. So just like before, you want to grab your crop tool. So it's starting on the move tool up here. It's 1, 2, 3. I guess it's 1, 2, 3. It's the fourth tool down in Photopea. You grab your crop tool. It'll give you these bounding box points, and you want to go in here. And this time you want to do fixed ratio. Not 1-to-1. That's the last one that you had done. You want to actually put your width and height in here. So I said my width would be 14 and my height needs to be 10. If it were a tall one, I would just put in the opposite direction dimensions. I'm going to hit the check mark. Now, if you remember from before, and I look in my layers panel, if I go back to my move tool and I look at these transformation controls, remember that when you crop in Photopea, it remembers where the pixels used to be. So technically, that part of my image that I cropped off isn't really gone. It's just looking like it's gone in my screen. And to zoom in and out, once again, I'm doing Control plus or minus. So I am going to right click, two fingers simultaneously on my trackpad, and I'm going to flatten this image. Okay. And then I can just click to unlock it. Now those pixels are gone. And I want to size this. So I'm going to go to Image and Image Size. The first thing you want to do is set this to inches. And it's close, but not quite. I want to set my width to 14, and I can just click outside because I chose a specific dimension. 14 by 10 is the same thing as 7 by 5. Because I chose a specific dimension, it'll automatically change my height to what it needs to be. And I'm going to change my dots per inch to 150. And there it is. Okay, so it looks like it shrank it quite a bit, and I'm going to hit Control plus to bring it a little bit larger. And again, it's 14 inches. It's exactly the size that it needs to be. I'm going to go over that one more time for you. Okay, so I've got a 10 by 14 opening. I want to do File, Open. I want to choose the photo that I'm going to crop. You open it. Be on your crop tool, fixed ratio. You put in your dimensions, what you want it to be. It has to be, the largest one has to be 10 by 14 or 14 by 10. You put those in, and then you hit your check mark. And then you want to right click on the photo and flatten it just to make sure that all those pixels have been definitely edited out. And you want to free that from its little lock. And then after you do that, you want to go to Image image size, because although you have set it to a specific ratio, you haven't finalized the size. So then you have to come in and put in 14, and it automatically goes to 10. And again, make sure you're working in inches in here. And then dots per inch. We always work in dots per inch. The poster canvas is 150 dots per inch. So that is what this size has to be. Okay. So from here, I can just click and drag this into my poster, and I want to hold it that whole time that it comes in. Now I don't see it because it's all like, if you bring it over, double check to make sure that it's here. It just needs to, it's down below all the other. It was just on the bottom layer. Okay. Zoom in, make sure that you've placed it correctly. So that's step number 1. Okay. Now step number 2, I can actually get rid of this. I don't really need it anymore. Is the step number 2 is to get my other 3 photos, and those should go quickly because I'm going to crop them to a 1-to-1 ratio. Oops, I want to do it from inside of Photopea. So it's File, Open. I'm just going to grab all 3 of them real quick here. And if you have them all lined up, it becomes a lot easier. And I have them named as well. That it made it much easier for me to find. And here's my last one. Okay, so from here, remember to crop to 4x4. I'm sorry, it was 4.5 by 4.5. I want to choose a 1-to-1 ratio. And I just want to come in here. I'm going to do it really quickly. I'm just going to crop each of these with that little square. And I'm going to go right down the line with it. I'm still on that crop tool. Oops. If you make a mistake, just hit that X there. So crop. So I'm just jumping from image to image. I'll crop in a little bit on that one. Okay, now remember, if you look at the ruler, they're not the correct size yet. Go back to your Move tool, make sure you're on your Move tool. And you're just going to go through here and go to Image and Image Size. Make sure you're set to inches, and you're just going to put in 4.5. Your height will automatically go to 4.5. And okay, I know it looks like it's teeny weeny. I'm going to, oops, you know what? Is it going to give me a hard time? I forgot to flatten that image. Let's see. Yep. Okay. It's just those series of steps that you have to go through. I'm just going to leave that there. I can put them in place later on. So, an image, double click, and I want to go to image. You have to do all 3 of those. Image size. It's kind of a pain in the rear end, but here it comes. Again, I'll go back to the last one. Right click, flatten image. Unlock an image. Image size. Okay, this one looks really teeny weeny, but they're not. And here comes the last one. All right, now I kind of want to do Control Plus, and I want to go down here. And you can see that they've all got their own little layers here. If you wanted to, you can double click on the names and rename them for the layers that they are. You can do that on any layer. But right now I'm just more interested about, so as I'm clicking on these, you'll notice how I'm jumping from layer to layer. Um, so that one's probably already in place. This middle layer here, I'm using my arrow keys to toggle them into place. I think sometimes that's easier than my mouse is really sensitive. All right. So it looks like everything's really aligned. You kind of want to really look at those turquoise blue lines, make sure that everything is lined up really well. This one, maybe go one more arrow key over. I'm just clicking on each layer before I move it. And I'm going to take a good look at it. And now you want to save again. So it's File. Well, this is the first time you're saving. File, and you want to save as PSD. So whenever you've done anything, choose to file, save as PSD. You know what? There's one more step I really wanted you to do before you did that. Instead of horizontal poster, you want to save it. It should go back to EOD because that's where your photos are coming from. Name it EOD plus your first and last name. So save a copy of it. And remember, anytime at all that you are going to be leaving Photopea, you have to save this. Don't leave this tab open. Don't think that you can log back into Photopea and it's going to be there, because it will not. This is just a website you're working on. One last thing I really wanted you to do before you saved, and I forgot to tell you, is you want to merge these layers. So when you're happy with the placement of your photographs and you're pleased with everything on your image, you want to join these 4 layers together. So to do that, you want to click on the first image in your background and then the last of those. And if you hold your shift key in, it'll grab all of them at once. So again, that's grab the top layer of your photographs, scroll to the bottom of just the photograph layers, and see how they're all joined together now. Now you want to right click in this light gray area out here that's 2 fingers simultaneously on the trackpad. Oops, I left it go. And you want to choose to merge layers. So there they are. Now, if I turn them off, they're all gone together. So they're all merged. All right. So I'm going to say this one more time. It's already, now it's named what it needs to be. I'm just going to hit save. And it's going to ask me, do I want to replace it? Yes. And that's it. So that's the first part of this project, is getting all the photos open